Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning. Well, former Abia State Governor and 7th Senator representing Abia North, Orji Uzor-Kalu, has confirmed recent attempts to impeach Senate President Godswill Akpabio, adding that the plot was thwarted through the intervention of some lawmakers. In his words, "We are one big family, and it's not going to happen." Speaking with journalists on Tuesday at the National Assembly complex in Abuja, Senator Kalu also backed the United States President Donald Trump's recent comments on killings in Nigeria, addressing reports, of the attempted impeachment of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Kalu dismissed the tension as a family misunderstanding. While on Trump's issue, he added that Nigerians are being killed whether they are Christians or Muslims. He noted that there are jihadists who just want to destroy Nigeria and that they should be blacklisted without pity. The senator revealed that he had personally discussed Nigeria's security situation with two former United States presidents, one Republican and one Democrat, as well as 6 serving United States senators who expressed readiness to assist Nigeria in the fight against terrorism. While aligning himself with pro-America, Kalu, however, argued that the global instability fueling terrorism today stemmed from US-led invasions of Libya and Iraq, which led to the collapse of border controls and proliferation of weapons across Africa, where we've been joined in the studio here in Lagos, where we're broadcasting from, by Barrister Darlington Agomo. Barrister Agomo is a lawyer and a political affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister Agomo, and thanks for being part of the show.
Good morning, Mr. Koro, Fina, and the Moses. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Beside him, we have seasoned reporter and political affairs analyst, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Good morning, Dele. Good to have you.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay.
I hope you didn't miss out the elder.
No, I will. I will join it next time I introduce you. Elder Dele Fanimo.
Yes,
is it
thank
okay?
you very much.
And from our Benin, by the way, Dele clocked 60 on Saturday. Happy birthday and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So
Happy
this
birthday.
small
Yes.
boy, you
That
come
was
here,
me,
you
an
come
elder.
here,
An
yeah.
elder. Okay.
You are just
from,
60. and
all
you're
right,
an
thank
elder.
you very much, Barrister. From our Benin outstation, we've been joined by Barrister Oni Odigin. He's the Director General, Bell is Free Campaign Group. He's a lawyer as well as political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister Odigin, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning.
Good morning, my moderator. Please let me correct some impression there. I'm not a barrister, I'm a human rights activist.
Okay.
Okay, very well. Thank you for that correction. And from our Oka outstation, we've been joined by Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesobi. Dr. Ekesobi is an economist, policy consultant, and teaches economics at the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University in Anambra State. Good morning to you, Dr. Ekesobi, and thanks for being part of VOP this morning.
Good morning. It's nice to be back again, especially after the election season in Anambra.
Okay, beautiful. We are going to talk a bit about elections in Anambra. Thanks for being part of this show. Now, Barrister Darlington, let me come to you straight off. Orji Uzor-Kalu made a revelation that there was a plot, which they thwarted anyway, to impeach Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Where do you think this is coming from? What's your broad reaction? Let's have your broad reaction to what Orji Uzor-Kalu said.
Orji Uzor-Kalu have not been happy with Akpabio because that seat was supposed to be his, but it was manipulated out of. He was manipulated out of that seat. In fact, the day he was making his speech, he cried before the whole world, and so seeing Akpabio there does not make him happy. Why is it that he's the only one who should come and tell us that they were about to impeach Akpabio? Why should he be the one? He's not the deputy or any of the principal officers. He has not been happy. So this revelation is nothing to us.
But Barrister, before I see some kind of conflict in your position. You said, first of all, you said that seat was supposed to be his. What do you mean by that? Is it another, are we trying to see another Emilokon?
Because under the zoning formula, he was supposed to be the one. He said it himself. I'm not the one saying it.
Okay.
When he made that speech and they shortchanged him, he was crying. He was crying.
Is he the only APC senator from the Southeast?
No, he said he's the highest ranking officer.
So does that confer that position
oldest.
automatically on him?
No, I said going by the zoning formula.
Okay.
Yes, going by the
we
zoning.
are saying the same thing.
The zoning formula. An Igbo man should have come third. Since the Yoruba have taken first, the Hausa are second.
Sorry, Barrister.
Yes.
My position is this. According to you, Ojo KALU said that position is supposed to be his own. And you are in support of that because going by the zoning formula, the Senate president should have come to the Southeast. And I ask you, if it comes to the Southeast, must it be an Ojo KALU? And you say he's the highest ranking senator.
Yes.
Does he go to the highest ranking senator in any zone?
The oldest. He has been there, yeah, he has been there.
So the Senate president position is more like a birthright. Is that what you're saying?
In fact, he did not even win the election.
So are we to be handing it over to people?
AKPABIO did not win that election. The facts are there. The man that rigged it for him is serving jail time now. So you can see. It's just that maybe from where he came, he didn't have more senators on his own side.
Okay, now Barrister, I see another conflict there. You say that Orji has never been happy, but Orji is the one that said, look, it's not going to happen. We are one big family. So isn't that some kind of contradiction?
No. When he said that, he was just making some allusion somewhere. He's just leading us on by making that statement. When he said it's not going to happen, is he the one that will make it not to happen? Is he the one? He was just trying to reveal something to us. To tell AKPABIO that, look, oh, that's it. I am the one helping you there. And that's what KALU always do whenever there is an issue like this. He wants you to know that he's playing a very major role. That he played a very important role for that thing to come about. That's what he's known for. All this one he's telling us, he spoke with one former president of America. He spoke with congressmen. It's just to tell you that he's playing a role. But if you go by the details, his party may not be happy with that thing he's saying.
Okay.
Because that's not their position.
Their position on the genocide issue.
Yes, that's not the position of the federal government.
Okay,
and now he's saying it to tell you how far he has gone for discussing with the former president of America.
Barrister, that's the second leg of the conversation. We'll come to that. Before we go to our virtual guest, let me bring in Dele Fanimo into this conversation. We are also hearing about a plot, a scare, more like away from the coup scare. We now hear that there's a plot, to impeach Godswill AKPABIO. And Ojo KALU says, look, we thwarted it. It's not going to happen. Where do you think, assuming it is real, where do you think it could be coming from?
Well, you recall that at some point in the life of this Senate, there was a kind of rejig that they had to reshuffle chairmanship of committees and all that. And some people that felt, particularly when this Natasha issue happened, so the result you get from such kind of upset is some people will get disgruntled and feel that they have been shortchanged. And in the process of that, there will always be gang up. And they will begin to insinuate that, no, this man is high-handed, he's not doing this. And then they bring in ethnicity, they bring in religion, and all other primordial factors just to justify why the man should not continue in office. And don't forget that even this Natasha case, you might be surprised that they may even have some people, some senators that are sympathetic to our cause, but they may not have that courage to say it in the open. So they will draw those ones, and of course, in the process, for politicians, there will always be moles that will reveal, just like in coup plots, there will always be one mole that will go and reveal the modus operandi. And that's why, but for somebody who had been governor, who had been senator, minister, and to have said that, so it shows that there is some element of disenchantment within the system. And how it will be managed or how it will escalate will now depend on the sagacity of the person
in question. Now, you said something about ethnicity. Could it be an attempt by the North to upset the Tinubu's balance? Because this is one man that is very close to the president, and he has always said anything that the president brings into this Senate will let it go. Do you think it has anything to do with the North trying to create an imbalance?
We're just trying to hazard guesses here, but you can't rule that out completely, because some people will want to say, okay, what is our numerical strength here? Can we use it to good use so that we can get maximum gain? You know, it's all about us trading. It's possible. It's possible because they feel that, okay, if we have our man here, he will be able to check some of the excesses of the executive arm of government.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adelefanimo, for your submission. Dr. Chukwunoso Kesobi, let's get to join the conversation. What do you make of this particular revelation made by Senator Orji KALU about how I'm talking about the members of the Senate at this point in time, for the possible attempt to impeach the Senate president? Recall that before now, there was a walkout that was staged by some senators who believe that the Senate president have been acting, you know, more like a tough man with a high-handedness and all that. The likes of Inaya Baribe also sometime too, it talked about the activities of the president of the Senate, the way he do shut them up even when they want to talk and all that. Help us actually work around this. And how far do you think that this particular foil, which, you know, at this point, this coup, according to what this kind of experience, how far do you think it's going to last before they'll have another, maybe a possible impeachment or even an implosion in the House?
I think our leaders need to start asking themselves some honest questions, because I think at the executive we had a coup scare, at the legislature we had an impeachment scare. Maybe the Chief Justice of the Federation should start watching her back as well. But going to your questions, I see it as it's a revelation that internally the cohesion in the Senate or the legislature may not appear to be as cordial as we expect, because it makes no sense making this revelation without any prompting. So are you trying to tell us that there may be something, you know, going on behind the scenes, or some persons having some, you know, personal issues or, you know, collective issues that relates to maybe, like, for instance, the Natasha case, or maybe the way you just mentioned the leadership high-handedness in the Senate. So basically, it speaks to the level of cohesion in the Senate under the Senate President's watch, which has not been so effective. So I think that the leadership of the Senate should be concerned about that. Then secondly, it also speaks to the level of the allocation of responsibilities, heading committees and critical positions in the Senate. So are those people who blocked the impeachment move, they assumed the impeachment move, are those people who blocked it, are those the people that are benefiting from the current Senate, or those who intend to benefit from the current Senate? You know, so these are questions that maybe Orji KALU may need to come and provide more answers to. And it also speaks to the kind of policy distractions we are having. These are not the kind of conversations that should be bothering us, you know, as far as legislative assignments are concerned. There should be other issues, bills, you know, policy engagements that they need to be having instead of having this kind of discussions.
Thank you.
After all, if there are challenges or they have any, you know, suspicions or allegations, there should be a way of scrutinizing them and keeping us away from these distractions.
When in one breath you call it a distraction, and others will be like, hey, it's not really a distraction. Recall when the story surrounding the budget pardon made it, You know, when Abdunenge talked about it, he was also shushed, and after that, it was sanctioned and all that. And then the likes of Aline Dume too have been vocal about some things happening on the floor of the House. And you just made mention of the Natasha Gate and all that. Now, when you look at all those things, you know, and the way it's been handled, especially that of Natasha Gate, at this point, the fact that it's like some persons shielded the Senate president from even answering to, you know, the major call, which is the sexual harassment statement, rather than looking at it, they decided to play it down by bringing in the House rule and people that did not keep to it. Now, isn't that enough for, you know, the Senate president to, you know, actually step aside for the image of the nation? Imagine someone having such position, still retaining it and all that. So what do you make of it? Because this actually happened to be what some quarters are actually talking about.
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we don't have this tradition or this culture of holding our leadership to account, because if we have that kind of a culture, just like one of your studio guests mentioned, that the Senate president shouldn't even be in the Senate in the first place. But you know, because we allow some level of executive rascality and the way our leadership recruitment process is what permits this kind of thing. So when you have people without dignity, people without integrity, people without anything to stand for, people who don't represent the national interests or the will of their constituents, when they go there, they behave things that are, you know, against, you know, expected norms.
Expected norms.
So
indeed.
it's quite unfortunate.
All right. Very unfortunate.
We cannot hold all of them. You can't hold any of them to account as it is today. When last did you see a senator recalled by his constituents? These are questions.
Well, that seems impossible from the kind of system that we operate here. But thank you very much, Dr. Chukwunonso. Now, I would love to go to Benin, but let me come back to the studio before taking my question to Benin, and I'll be asking the same question really. So, our man in Benin, Chris Ojekere, please do. Okay, well, Barrister Darlington, let me ask you this: should the Senate President be bothered about the talk of impeachment? We know that the President still endorses him as the President of the Senate. And if you want to take into cognizance what happened in Lagos not too long ago, where the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Budashiru Obasa, was actually impeached, but because, I mean, the President still had work for him to do, the President liked him, he was called back. So if the President endorses and likes AKPABIO, should AKPABIO be bothered about the enemies that have risen up against him?
If I were AKPABIO, I should have excused myself from that Senate by now, after what happened to the professor. There's no need for him to be there, seriously. That was the first, in fact, that was the time the House should have impeached him. But for one reason or the other, he stayed there. Then too, by his conduct in that Senate, in fact, it leaves much to be desired.
My question is, should he be bothered, seeing that the President has not lifted his hand off his head?
No.
He's still anointed.
In fact, he should be embarrassed that he has not been impeached.
He should be embarrassed.
He should be embarrassed, yeah, because from his conduct and what he has done so far in that Senate, he has, in fact, he has disgraced himself. And I'm sure more disgrace will come if they do not continue this impeachment story we are hearing.
All right.
AKPABIO ought not to be Senate president. From all indication, he has not done well there. So,
well, that's you saying.
No, that is the one.
His colleagues voted him in.
Do opinion poll. When his
But his colleagues voted him in.
Sorry?
He was voted in.
Look, nobody did that. Lawal made it clear that, look, that was not the way they voted for. That was not how they voted. The votes were not properly counted. And so, on what ground will even AKPABIO be there? Remember that he went to Aso Rock, where he was anointed and appointed. The vote was just a walkover. In actual sense, what pedigree does AKPABIO have after what he did at NDDC? You can see. They said, tell me your friends, I'll tell you whom you are. So they kept him here for a purpose, for self-interest. Nothing enough for the interest of Nigerians. And he had been acting according to the mandate given to him. Are they challenging the executive? No. Whatever the executive does, he endorses it. Any bill they bring, he endorses it. That is why we are where we are today.
Okay.
They're supposed to challenge and checkmate the executive from their excesses. But we are not seeing that. We are not.
Okay.
So this Senate president, even himself, he knows. If you compare what the sister-in-law was saying, Patricia, this man ought to have gone since.
Barrister, that's family.
Family what?
That's what it is.
Is it true or false?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Do you know? Do you know if it's true or false?
It's true.
It's true, according to you.
It's true, yes. It's the family member that will tell you the true story of a man.
Family member who also supported him during elections.
That was there now.
Okay.
That was there, yes.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much, Bryson Darlington. I do understand that we'll have to let you go, and we'll continue this conversation. But let me take this to Benin, where we have Oni Edigin. I beg your pardon. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Now, same question, really. Should AKPABIO be bothered? It's been stated, it's public knowledge that the elections that brought him in was faulted. The professor that made the announcement and all of that is serving jail term, but he's still there. He's still presiding over the Senate. He's still the number 4 man, as we would always say, number 4 man in the country. So if the talk about impeachment comes up, should he be bothered? Should he lose sleep over it? And what does this say? As you respond to that, I think you might have to unmute your microphone so we get your audio. But as you respond to that, what does this say about the Senate? What does this say about Nigeria? When you look at the things happening now, what does this say about the country in general?
Thank you, my moderators. You see, when issues is raised in this country, we are so fast to take it political. It's instead of us to focus on the subject matter. Now, for example, pardon me, this impeachment was raised by the Northerners. It will also be taken political. They want to imaginize the Easterners. Now, KALU Oji is his first family, a brother from the same region, who probably, because if you don't know me, you can't know where about me. Who know more about the Senate President AKPABIO. Now, talk about impeachment. The area we are supposed to focus on, impeachment, is it constitutional? The answer is yes. Does it matter who raised the motion? The answer is no. It doesn't matter who raised the motion of impeachment. Now, let me tell you, we are talking about accountability and transparency in a proactive leadership, whereby any person who a sense of reasoning can rise up, and when seeing the production of the expectations of your duty is not being met, it can call for impeachment. There is rules. There are rules for impeachment. Instead of us as a Nigerians, or a politician, or whatever way you may reason it, to look at the subject matter. Why was this impeachment at this time being raised? Is it by political sentiment, or by political what you want to achieve, or AKPABIO is being removed now? Who will for example, it comes to pass, is removed, who will take the position because he has been zoned? The North as the vice, the others as the president, and the eastern has, it has been zoned. How long has this been a production or a responsive to the public or to the masses? So for me, I'm not looking at it political now. I'm looking at our learned barrister, they will understand what I'm saying now. I'm looking at it in the constitutional platform. Impeachment can come. And what I expect Nigerians now is that let's look at the subject matter. Let's review it. When you talk about distractions, what do you mean by distractions? Did you know the position that he's holding? Did you know the productions, what Nigeria are expecting for its caliber? And you're talking about distractions. Okay, there has not been a distraction since before this one was raised, impeachment. What have Nigerians, able to act, to say, no, don't do this, allow it. No, Nigeria has actually got nothing in respect of good governance. Nigeria is not, the state sovereignty belongs to the people. Who are the people? The majorities who voted him there.
Thank you so much. He didn't
go there.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Edegin. Thank you for your submission. You're talking about the power belonging to the people, and people are the ones that voted him there. It's interesting to know also that the professor who happens to be the returning officer during that election is serving some jail time in prison, and the person who benefited from the outcome of the election is still the president of the Senate, the number 3rd man in Nigeria. Okay, let's take this conversation to Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi. Dr. Chukwunonso, when during the submission or during the time that the Senator Orji KALU, was answering questions from correspondents in Abuja, he went further to talk about how the upper chamber remains united and focused on making sure that, they support President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's administration in tackling economic challenges, especially the one facing the people, saying that the Senate happened to be people-oriented, not individual-oriented. And he talked about the support he has for the statement made by Donald Trump about the genocide and the recent redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. What do you make of this? Because some persons were of the opinion that since the Senate president didn't talk about it, recall he asked a question, so who am I to talk about Trump? So now we're seeing the former chief whip talking about it at this point. What does it really portend for the APC as a party, understanding the stand of the presidency on the statement made by Donald Trump, and now that a senator is backing such claims?
Except those who don't have an opinion or appear to have kept silent, maybe they are playing the ostrich. It's quite clear that we are in a very troubling situation as far as the security of lives and property is concerned in the country. So maybe for some level of, maybe I want to assume that they are giving the president the responsibility of making these engagements as far as the issue of the killings in the country are concerned. So it's one thing to admit that, yes, killings are ongoing, irrespective of whether it is a Christian or a Muslim, or whether it's the particular tribe or not. But it's quite sad that we don't even see it as an embarrassment that we cannot secure the life of an average Nigerian. It speaks to the importance we attach to the quality of life or the value of a human life in the country. And whether Orji KALU, whether he said something about it or not, this is a trending issue that we can no longer run away from. So the better it is for us that everybody speaks up against this, so we can find a lasting solution.
Okay.
For the Senate President and others who may have, avoided making comments on it, they may have their reasons, like I said earlier. But it is high time we all begin to take this matter with the seriousness it deserves.
Okay.
So I was surprised that he made that comment, but he's not saying something that is far from the truth.
Okay, not saying something that is far from the truth. Thank you very much, Dr. Ekesobi, for that incisive take. I promise that we'll talk about Anambra a bit before we leave. In just 1 minute, can you tell us, as a policy analyst, how did the Anambra election go with you? What is the pulse of the people now? Can you just paint a picture of what is going on in Anambra now, especially with regard to the elections, how it happened, what are the expectations of people going forward? Will people go to court to challenge the outcome of the election and all of that? Can sum up all of that in like 2 minutes if you can, sir.
Well, as far as the Anambra elections went, it went in a very unusually quiet note, in the sense that the environment was not so tense. It's maybe not as a result of the cordial, relationship or the comportment of the political parties or the actors, but partly because the populace, the polity in the state, just wanted the election to just come and go. Yes, the mood in the state wasn't so exciting. And maybe that also stems from the level of the debate that led to this election. It wasn't really issue-based. It was more of a name-calling. You are a political harlot. You are in this party. You failed WAEC. You did not fail WAEC. You did this. You did that. So the people were not constructively engaged.
So. What does that say? What does that say about the politics we are practicing today? That's basically where I am driving at, because the politics that we are practicing seems to be degenerating, and the people are not holding the political actors accountable. We're not discussing issues anymore. I mean, there was a time. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Okay. There was a time we talked about roads. We talked about provision of amenities. And then there was a time we talked about caring for the people, and then politicians would join pupils in classrooms to eat rice, or join Nigerians by the roadside to eat corn and boli, roasted plantain, and the rest. But these days, they don't even do that. They just throw jabs, throw insults at each other, raise the issue of WAEC, and we laugh over it, and they come in and rule over the people. What does it say about the politics being played in Nigeria today?
After the election, I had a class, and during the conversation as to how the students participated in the elections, and one of them made a very interesting comment. He said, "Why will we bother ourselves about an election where they no rate us?" So you see, this perception that these people don't take us seriously, they are taking us for granted. So why do we go to that extent? Look at the voter turnout. Then when you come for the voting proper, you no longer talk about all these normal electoral issues, that they did not start on time, that they had missing sheets here and there, or some sensitive materials or this. Yes, those issues came up, but very, you can ignore those ones. The issues we are talking about is vote buying, because we have weaponized poverty in this country.
All right.
Yes, that people could trade their votes. Okay. They could mortgage the next 4 years on the altar of 5,000, 3,000. Then what do you expect them to do? So, but you see, we cannot have this. We cannot have a situation where we run this country the way it is being run. And I still point to our leadership recruitment process.
Thank you so much.
Especially how our political actors emerge. So it's quite unfortunate.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
People did not really. I think in summary, people did not take this election with the optimism that you would have expected. People were just like, okay, let him just continue and let us just go ahead.
Just have peace.
And then if you check what is happening also within the National Assembly, it's more like some people are sharing the same. Now, let's bring it to the studio again. Mr. Delefanimo, Orji Okalo was of the opinion that everything the Senate does is in the interest of the people. You know, say that the legislation they are making are pro-people, and they are focused on ensuring that Nigeria can eat 3 times a day. That was one of the things he said. You know, I don't know, as someone who have actually been a player in the media and all that, from reporting and everything, you've actually been a veteran journalist. Can you actually help us out, you know, maybe to Nigerians to see or to note if there are, well, I say people-centric legislatures be done or carried out within this present 10th assembly?
Except if we want to live in self-denial, that's why we'll begin to say that the National Assembly, as currently constituted, is pro-people. I would not share that sentiment. You see, the first injury that was inflicted on Nigerians by the current National Assembly was for that audacity to state openly that whatever the executive arm of government brings to the table would, without hesitation, be approved. It shows that there's a kind of unholy alliance between the executive and the legislative arm of government. Even if you have that tendency, it's not proper for you to rub it on us or rub it on our face. Secondly, how much of, if you look at the number of bills that have been passed, how many of these bills, how many of these amendments that have been accented by the president are pro-people in content and in implementation. Right. So when you have all of that, and it will be living in self-denial, playing the ostrich to say the current legislative arm of government is pro-people.
Oh, well, let's